afternoon nap in, which is always nice. And then last night went to dinner, Rufino's, great as always. After Rufino's, we went and met some friends at Bin 77. So that was fun as well to have a late night and adult time, which we don't get often. So I had a great time. So hope y'all had a great Saturday as well. Football Tigers continue to roll. 3-star linebacker Whit Weeks has committed to LSU, 3-star to Georgia. His brother West Weeks, you might remember, is a transfer to LSU from Virginia. So this year he transferred in as part of that massive transfer portal get by Brian Kelly and his staff to sort of supplement the numbers. So West Weeks will play his first season in Baton Rouge this year. And his brother Whit Weeks will be heading to Baton Rouge next year. So 3-star, 6 foot, 200 pounds. You know what's interesting though? I did see one of the sites listed him at 6'2", 200 pounds. One of them listed at 6 foot, 200 pounds. Let me see how they have him listed here. 6'2", okay, so 6'2", 205 is what 247 Sports has him listed as. So 6'2", 205, a 3-star out of Georgia. And so that now brings LSU up to 14 commitments, and the class is all the way up to 8th. 9 days ago they were 3rd or 30th, 37th, something like that. But you start adding commits to the class. Obviously, your composite rating is going to go up, so you'll obviously have a higher ranking as well. So, 1 5-star, 9 4-stars, and then 4 3-stars in the class for LSU. So it's a lot of defense too. A lot of defense in this class. Obviously, you got Jaylen Brown, the 5-star wide receiver, but Jackson Howard defense, Deshaun Womack defense, Mac Markway the tight ends offense, and Dalen Austin cornerback, Joshua Mickens edge rusher, Deron Reed defensive line, Michael Doherty, Ryan Yates safeties, Whit Weeks linebacker, Jeremiah Hughes cornerback, Ashton Stamps cornerback. So 10 of your 14 commits right now are on the defensive side of the ball. So again, rolling on defense. Need to, over time, of course, see the offense catch up there as well. So, all right, let's say some good morning. See what y'all got. True Axe, what's good? Daniel Suttons, what's up? Brian Penton, good morning. From Eastman, Georgia. All right, all over the place. Jason Brown, how was Rufino's? What did you order? Went with the ribeye, and it's fantastic as always. And we also did. I love their seared ahi tuna appetizer. It's seared ahi tuna on a salt block, Himalayan salt block, and it's got caviar on top. I love it. I think it's awesome. So, had a great time, great meal as always. Kevin Roy, what's up? Steve Scott, good morning. Just back from Pigeon Forge. Okay. Daughter and her fellow teammates kicked butt in dance nationals. Good job. That's fantastic. Who you got this morning? Kyrgios or Djokovic? Have a great Sunday. Steve, I don't know, man. Honestly, I guess I could put that on. I haven't really watched Wimbledon. Golly, I mean, I don't think I've watched Wimbledon really since. Remember when Nadal and Federer had that epic final that it went into the night in London? That might have been the last time that I can remember watching a Wimbledon final. Take that back. I do remember. Now this has been a minute. This was probably 2012. 12 or 13 maybe. I remember Andy Murray finally winning Wimbledon. Became the first British man to win in like 70 years or something like that. Anyway, all right, so Kyrgios won the first set, Djokovic won the second, other than the third set. All right, let's say some good mornings over here on YouTube. Y'all know the drill. Smash that like button if you haven't done so yet. And if you're new, please subscribe up to the YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Just hit the red subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just just the videos will post in your feed when you log on. Marcus Oobs, Jesse Brown, Jason Mobile, good morning. Driving to Texas. Happy belated birthday. Thank you, Jason. Safe travels, bud. Hope all's well with you. Josh Langlois, Donald Amy, Jeremy Nuslock, good morning. Jesse Brown, Matt, my son shares the same name as the new linebacker commit for LSU, except my son is 2 T's, Whit. Got it. Very cool, very cool. Not a very common name, huh? Whit. Is Whit short for something? I remember there was a Whit Merrifield. Played baseball at South Carolina. Does that sound right? Normal guy. Good morning. Trivia Carter. Good morning. Cody Boudreaux, Larry Gardner, L. Jeezy, Shelton Sampson with the clock. Yeah, man. I mean, he's considered a heavy LSU lean. I don't know when he'll commit or make his announcement or decision, whatever. But yeah, that's one I think they're going to get. I'll still maintain, y'all. I mean, I know we seemingly talk about this every day now for the last week plus because I keep getting all these commitments. But LSU is always going to be able to recruit. They're always going to be able to get good players. Can you get like transcendent 5-star players, number one? And can you get your in-state kids to stay home? That's going to be, I think, ultimately when the December signing period and then the February signing period roll around. That will judge this class by how did you do in-state. Let's see. Keaton Berry and let's go number 8 class as of now. I believe Brian Kelly is going to bring some big time O-line recruits. Yeah, that's one thing that if I'm scanning quickly, there's no offensive linemen yet in this class, and you always need a supplement there, obviously. So Lance Hurd from up in Neville is a big time top 100 guy that seems to be thought to be an LSU lean. Be great to get him as well. So, right, where are we? Aaron Fontaine. I didn't get to mention it before. Last weekend we brought our 8-month son to watch USA baseball. During warm-ups, Cruz and Morgan saw us in our LSU gear, came over for a quick chat and take a picture. Very cool. Very, very cool. That's right. I remember you telling us that you were going to the games up there. Cody, I calling anyone a one-truck pony, but if there ever were one, it might be Jaylen Brown. I'm not hating on the kid. That speed is next level. But you're not calling anyone a one-trick pony. Got it. Murder Giraffe, good morning. Dat Cajun, what's up? LSU Sway, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Happy belated 40th. Joey Metge, good morning. Brad David, what did you have to drink last night? So, well, our good friend Jeff Marks, Walking with Tigers author, had a bottle of champagne sent to the table for. So we got there. So we sipped champagne, then had a glass of red wine with dinner. And then when we went out and met friends, I did drink a couple of whiskeys at Bin 77. Let's see. Brett Dagro, Cody Boudreaux, thank you, man. Taz, who would you say was the best recruit to sign with LSU this past week? It's got to be Jaylen Brown, right? I mean, he's the 5-star wide receiver, now the highest ranked commit in the class. You go into Miami and get a 5-star receiver, right out of the Canes' backyard. That's got to be the answer. And Hunter Fournette pointed out no one signed Taz. Yes, he means commitment, though. I mean, I know what he meant. Rapping Batch of Stephen Upshaw, good morning. Let's see. Facebook is doing this thing now where, like, it keeps resetting the comments all the way to the top. Ryan Dixon, how was the talent evaluation on new staff compared to last? So, Ryan, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, and I mean the very real answer is don't know, right? Until we see these guys play and if they develop and all that stuff. Um, I will say it takes a lot of uh, confidence and self assuredness to take, at this point, commitments from 3 stars, right? Um, like Ashton Stamps from Rummel. He's a 3 star. He's rated number 838 in the country. Like, that's not a blue chipper that you would assume is going to come here and blow things up, right? Um, Jeremiah Hughes is a 3 star from Las Vegas who we talked to on AFR this week. His national ranking is 625. Whit Weeks, his national ranking is 610. You've taken commitments from some guys that really aren't highly regarded. So, and that's okay, by the way. I want to be clear about this. Like, that's okay if you had that player on campus, you scouted them, you looked at their film, they came to camp, and you like the athlete and you see a role for them. If you can develop, like we've talked about, I mean, Tyrann Mathieu was a 2 star, and he got the LSU offer, then all of a sudden became a 4 star. And Justin Jefferson was the lowest rated player in his class. I mean, there's enough of those, right, examples throughout the years to where, if you see something you like, you see something you like in a prospect, and go get the prospect. So, but to answer the question, I think it was Ryan who asked it. Ryan Dixon asked it, I'm pretty sure. How's the talent evaluation? We're going to have to wait and see. Because Ryan, I mean, if the guys at the lower part of this class that they're taking commitments from, if they don't pan out, well, then you're going to look back and say, well, that was a poor job of talent evaluation. But you can't really know the answer to that. We could certainly look at Brian Kelly's track record at Notre Dame and say that he's been really good at evaluating offensive line and tight ends and developing them. Those have been the 2 spots where Notre Dame had produced the most talent, in the draft at the next level. So you would hope that continues here, and then he's able to maybe get players that he wouldn't be able to get otherwise. Kelly Gross, good morning. Samuel Merrifield, did you see Zion's press conference after he signed his extension? Seemed angry about the rumors he did not want to play in New Orleans. He seemed serious. You buy it? I do. Yeah, Samuel, I mean, like, Zion has... I mean, clearly he wants to be here, and he's always seemed like a very genuine kid. And the truth is, he's not someone who puts himself out there very much often. Like, he doesn't talk much often. He's not on social media all the time. So there were narratives that got started that just sort of got carried on without him ever really having a chance to speak on it until now. So yeah, I do buy it. Kenneth Westbrook, good morning. Vinay Patel, good morning. Gamecoin update. We are actually going to be presenting at a lunch meeting this week. Where we will be showing some of the updates. And Vinay, be on the lookout because we are planning. I'm going to push to get this locked in here in the next 2 weeks, but we're gonna do a very sort of expansive AMA, Ask Me Anything. And we will have not only David, but also one of the developers will be on the call as well. And we will show the platform development. So excited about it. So just stay tuned in because I'll give you the updates on when we're going to do that AMA, and it's coming soon. Oh, let's see. Debbie Jenkins, Philip Berry, arrivederci. All right, we got the Italiano. There we go, man. Hope you're having a good trip. What time is it in Italy right now? Debbie Jenkins, Quentin Breakbill, Anthony Skinner, Jeff McKithen. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Jason Brown, I get the tune on the salad block every time too. It's my favorite appetizer. It was funny. So my mom and dad came with us to dinner last night as well, and I had my dad try the tuna, and he, Dad, I'm gonna embarrass you. He took his fork and he like brushed the caviar off. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Wait a minute, the caviar is part. This got the best part. Wait, put that back on top." He's like, "Man, you're teaching me stuff now." I'm like, "Well, I'm 40 years old. I've lived a little bit, not as long as you, but a little bit." Brant Roban, you think Joe Brady was overrated after LSU? He didn't last long in Carolina. The media made him look like a savior when Ensminger did half or more of the work too. Brant, I don't know how long. I mean, I think you've been locked into this show for a long time, but I've literally been saying this for 3 years. That was not the Joe Brady offense. That was the Joe Burrow offense. That was the Jamar Chase offense. That was the Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire offense. Joe Brady did not call plays. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I mean, it's. I mean, I literally have been saying this for 3 years. I streamed it for 3 years. Like, Joe Brady did not call plays in 2019. Steve Ensminger called the plays in 2019. Brady, yes, brought some concepts. Also, Brady did not work with quarterbacks. Joe Brady worked with receivers. George Munoz and Steve Ensminger worked with the quarterbacks. I mean, how that, well, I know how, because Steve Ensminger doesn't care if he gets credit. He's kind of a unicorn in that respect. But anyway, but yes, I think Joe Brady was very overrated. I'm not saying there was no value. Yes, it all worked together with all the pieces, but Joe Brady didn't call plays. Steve Ensminger called plays. Darren Reeves, good morning. Shelby Kelly, a little over a week before we know what next year's CWS championship roster looks like. Yeah, man. So the 1 week from today, Major League Baseball draft begins. So I don't know that we'll know for certain, Shelby. We'll have a much better idea, obviously, of what guys will show up and what guys won't. So, ooh. Devin Steve, happy birthday weekend, Matty boy. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate it. Jason Horn, welcome to the 40 Club. Thank you. Let's see, is Supper Club Baton Rouge the real deal? We went once for their soft opening, and I really enjoyed it. I think you just have to understand, like, you are going for an experience. It is like the way I've described it. They took Las Vegas and just dropped it in Baton Rouge. So, I mean, there are no windows. It's all blacked out. There's a DJ in the restaurant. Presentation is such a huge part of everything. The meals, the cocktails, everything. So, yeah, I mean, it's an experience. Kane Worthy, Jacob Esther was a two. Look, man, we could list a bajillion players that were lowly rated that went on to be really good. We could also list 10 bajillion players that were lowly rated that did not go on to be good. So, I mean, the question I think that was asked was, how does this staff's talent evaluation compare to the last? So, and we'll know when you see these guys get on campus and how they do. Let's see. Brian Broom, good morning. Mark Bork, good morning. Thoughts on, was the defense so anemic that LSU talent analysts are focusing huge on rebuild? Mark, are you saying, is that why the class, are you saying, is that why they're so heavy right now with the recruiting class on the defensive side? I don't know. I think I don't think you can just let things exist in a vacuum. Like, for example, one of the reasons they've had a lot of success with defensive linemen is Jamar Cain, right? I think Shea told us this a couple weeks ago. Cain was at Oklahoma. He had finished his 2022 class. He was starting to recruit 2023. Well, a lot of the guys that he had offered for 23, LSU had offered as well. So he basically went to him, was like, look, you know me, I've already recruited you, just come to LSU now. So that's why they kind of got a jump start on the defensive side with some of those guys. So no, I don't know necessarily, Mark. And I think, the second half of the year last year, once Ogeron got out of the way and let Durante actually call what he wanted to call, the defense got better in the second half of the year last year. So I don't know. I understand the question. I think I understand the question. I don't know that I put a tremendous amount of stock in that. In the rebuild on defense, I mean, you had to supplement so much through the transfer portal this year. Three corners, a couple of linebackers. You know what I mean? So let's see. Lon Hamilton, good morning. Ray Sutherland, good morning. Any scoop on the foosball boom? Philip Berry, it's 4:45 in the afternoon. Okay, in Italia. Just got back to the Airbnb, relaxing after a long train ride before dinner. Can't wait to wear my Rummel polo to dinner tonight. Who won the state championship last year? Darren Gagnon, good morning. Any shows from New Orleans for the LSU Florida State game are not decided yet? Darren, probably not. Not been decided. I don't know yet, but I don't know that we're going to be out of studio for that week. But we'll certainly let you know if when we do decide to do anything like that. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Are y'all smash that like button if you haven't done so yet on YouTube, Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, appreciate y'all very much. Get back over here to YouTube. Sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit here. Stephen Upshaw, Jesse Brown, Matt Whit is a family name. Honor my grandmother. It was her maiden name. Got it. Taz, Saints season creeping up slowly. Are they satisfied at tight end and running back? No, Taz, I don't think they are. But I think what you're going to see is they're going to wait until they get into camp and probably look for camp casualties, right? You look at other rosters, see what players get cut. I think if you need to make a trade, you can. If you end up in a pinch, I think what they're hoping, Taz, is Abram Smith from Baylor really shows out, and maybe you can squeeze a little more juice out of Mark Ingram here at the end of his career. But if you have to go make a move for a running back, they can. Taz, how would you rank the Pels offseason and free agency? Well, I mean, with respect to, I guess it's not free agency, but you have to consider the McCollum trade at the end of last year, or at the trade deadline last year. And then I love what they did in the draft. I think Dyson Daniels is going to be a really good player. It fits exactly what they need. So they just didn't have like a glaring need, right? D, good morning. ASCII Rock today. If she gets up, yeah. Had a late night last night. So if she wakes up and comes on in here, we'll do some ASCII Rock if she's down. Penn Morris, good morning. Let's see, Keaton. I'm predicting big bad Brad Davis. And dude, you got to stop with the nicknames, bro. Like, I just feel so stupid reading those. Big bad Brad Davis and Big BK. I'm just not doing that. I'm just not reading those nicknames. Just say Brad Davis and Brian Kelly. They'll sign 5 O-line guys, be majority 4 stars like the D-line recruits. I think you should sign 5 offensive linemen in every class. And that's my opinion. I think you should sign 5 offensive linemen in every class. Now, and I think that's made easier now as well because you don't have the hard cap of 25 anymore. Just as a refresher for those that don't know, if the NCAA had set a hard cap of 25, meaning you could only sign 25 guys in a class. They've now removed that hard cap, so you can sign as many as you want, but you can't go obviously over 85 for your roster. So a team like LSU this year, you would expect is going to oversign because remember they were so low on numbers, but you were still hard capped at 25 this year, but you could have the 1-for-1 transfers 7 over 25. So I think they're at 31 right now, but they're still below 85 scholarship players. So in this coming class, they're going to sign well over 25 to get their numbers back in line. Trivia. What's the 3 permanent opponent? What the 3 permanent opponent let play? What if, let's say, A&M is 12-0, LSU's 11-1, with the only loss to A&M. Now the Trivia, you come on, bro. You could do better. The SEC championship, LSU win. Now both are 12-1 in playoff. Trivia, come on, bro. Look, a little more care with your sentence structure. Hold on. Let me decipher this. Okay. Let's play what if. Right, if Texas A&M's 12-0, LSU's 11-1, the only loss is to A&M. They meet in the SEC championship. LSU wins. Both are 12-1 in the playoff. Yeah, but Trivia, you're also talking about what's going to be an expanded 12-team playoff, so both would be in anyway. Brad David, did you enjoy covering Les Miles? What do you think his legacy is at LSU looking back? I had no problem with Les at all. Les was very evasive. As y'all know, just from his syntax and the way he spoke, he never wanted to be forthcoming with information because he always felt like it would put him at a disadvantage. And it goes back to something like when he was at Oklahoma State. I'm trying to. It's been a long time now, but if I remember this correctly, Les was at Oklahoma State. I think he had like a running back or something. Maybe had a wrist injury, and the word got out, and then whoever they were playing that week just hammered that kid's wrist the whole game, like intentionally. And so Les's thing was always that he was just never going to give out information in the media, right? So, trivia, I'm restricted with characters. Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay. But I didn't mind Les. Les didn't impede me from doing my job. That was, professionally one of the big problems that I had with Ed was Ed blackballed me to where, I couldn't get information, blocked me on Twitter, would not allow anyone within the program to come on my show. I was talking to people who were friends of mine that were on staff that were like, man, we can't really talk to you. Ved finds out. That's a problem. You know what I mean? As far as Les's legacy at LSU, the Title IX stuff right now undeniably, stains it. But time heals all wounds, and we'll look back in time and respect very much what he did, how consistent he was for as long as he was, winning a national championship, playing for another, Hunter Fournette, Casey Smith, Matt, what's the next GMA? When is the next Game Point AMA? Is there a time target on when the first NFTs will be available? Super excited for the release. Yeah, man. So, answered this just a bit ago. I'm not sure if you heard, but hoping that within the next 2 weeks, it's probably gonna have to be a Friday. The tough part is that David Mailer he's been traveling like all summer, so it's been hard to get a time where he's here where we can all make it work. And then we're trying to conference in from Vegas and San Diego, or technology officer and one of the developers. So we're trying to get 4 schedules all together to be able to do like a very elaborative AMA and show the platform as well. So it's just been tough to get everybody's schedules coordinated, but definitely want to do this in the next couple of weeks. As for the NFT creator on the platform, like it's active, like it works. We're obviously not live because it's going to be tested and tested and tested and tested over and over and over again to make sure that all of the functionality of everything within it works whenever it does go live. Let's see, Cody Boudreaux, Trivia Carter, both in the play. You'd have two teams playing 3 times in a single season. Okay. So, I mean, you watch the NFL. You see that. I mean, Saints played the Bucks 3 times in 2020. Division opponents playing the playoffs all the time. Mr. EAJ 1461 going to take some of those guys 2 to 3 years to develop into 2 deep contributors. We need immediate impact guys in the secondary and at linebacker. So, I don't know that you ever really count on freshmen to be immediate impact guys unless if it's like a Derek Stingley in game 1, you're thrusting him out there to start. Usually, if you're starting freshmen, that's a problem. Usually. Not always, usually. So, I think you can always continue to supplement within the transfer portal if you need veteran depth at any position. And some of the guys that you have on campus already need to develop. Like, we've been talking a lot about Greg Penn this year. Greg Penn needs to step up and have a big year and be ready to be a starter at linebacker. I mean, we've been talking about some of the cornerbacks that have been hanging around for 2 and 3 years. It's time for those guys to step up and be dudes. We'll see if they can. Let's see. Ryan Pike, if LSU Florida State line is LSU -3, how do we feel about it? I like LSU. I've told you I do like LSU in that game. We talked a little bit about Florida State yesterday. Mike Norvell's entering year 3. They just haven't had a ton of success. He was 3-6 in the COVID year, and they were 5-7 last year. I just think LSU is going to be better coached and have more talent. Just the nature of the just the nature of the 2 rosters and the games in New Orleans. So I do like LSU in the game. Uncle Who Dat looks like I caught the show live again. I missed a lot. I'll catch up on the replay. Simplified. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Dave Endur, who decides how many stars these high school gets by their name? You have the recruiting services, have talent evaluators that do it. Normal guy, good morning. Apollo Balboa, 1985. What's up, Matt? Is anything less than 10 wins this season unacceptable for the hype and money given to Kelly? No, because I don't think they're winning 10 games this year. I think you have to be realistic about what he inherited after back-to-back 500 seasons and a roster that had about 50 guys on it. If you're expecting 10 wins this year, you are your expectations are completely outsized, because I don't think they're getting to 10 wins this year. I think that would be a miracle if they got to 10 wins. Let's see. Okay, Gil, can you explain the possible numbers LSU will take this year? Thought the 25 was lifted this year. That might be why 3 stars are taken out. Yeah, so I don't know how many ultimately they'll sign, but I think they will go over the 25. We did talk about that a little bit. And you can reach on a prospect if that's the case, but remember, you still have to have a scholarship available on the roster for that guy if you're going to take him. So, yeah, I mean, you do have the luxury of taking a guy that you might think would be a developmental player, for sure. Well, that's interesting. Sorry, it's a shot of people in New York watching Wimbledon outside. Anyway, let's see. YouTube, smash that like button, please. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Always shout out to Brock, Batters Orthopedic Clinic. After hours clinic open today. Brock, Rock and Wine, coming up August the 6th. Be here before you know it. Of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Josh Langma, Kirby really wanted Weeks. Kid is a stub on film. Maybe stud. He's as good as Tack Curtis and Manny, who we weren't going to get. Ryan Broussard, Matt, if a team already has their 25-man recruiting capped out, can a team use NIL deals to pay players as walk-on? Remember, Ryan, no cap anymore. The hard cap has been removed. You can sign over 25 now. There's no limit on the number you can sign. Let's see, Lon Hamilton, a bit off topic from today's information. How do you feel about the LSU basketball team this year? I think the biggest question with basketball is going to be Adam Miller. If Adam Miller is a total stud, I think they can be a tournament team. I think the players that you lost collectively are more talented than the players you brought in, but the players they brought in give them a chance to be competitive. Like after your entire roster left, I mean literally all 13 scholarship players, I mean, I thought you were probably staring at a year that was going to be like the final year of Johnny Jones where they won 2 conference games. I mean, I think this team will have a shot to get to 500 in league play, and that'll at least put you on the tournament bubble. Bob Poole, good morning. Any odds on favorite rumors in the quarterback competition? No. Sorry, no. I mean, they'll go play it. I mean, everyone has an opinion on it. I'll keep giving you mine, and mine is that Brian Kelly's going to try to win games, and so he's going to go with the surest bet, and it's going to be one of the veteran guys who have played a ton. I don't think you take a mulligan with a young guy and take your lumps so he develops. I just don't think you have that luxury at a place like LSU. Let's see, Brian Pentner, they're going to put up some scholarships in baseball. Increase, yeah. So, I mean, Brian, the problem there is Title IX, right? So the only way that could ever happen is if football disassociated, right? So with Title IX, you have to spend the same on women's sports as you do on men's sports. So the reason you see men's sports get docked so much is when you have 85 scholarship type in one sport in football. Well, now you've got to, even if like men's and women's basketball are like a 1-for-1, right? Then you have swimming and diving, and but the reason you have track and field, the reason you have more women's sports total numbers because you have 85 scholarships tied up into one sport in football. So that's why you don't have men's soccer, but you have women's soccer. You have women's gymnastics. You don't have wrestling. You don't have men's volleyball, right? I mean that's why. So as long as Title IX is in place, or as long as football's 85 scholarships are included in that number, then it's hard to see that. It's hard to see that number increasing. Samuel Merrifield, let's see, Matt, it's amazing how many people always bring up the Cowboys as a Super Bowl contender. They always falter in the playoffs. Dak is overrated. Elliott looks old. Jerry Jones is the reason for their failure. I don't know if I'd say Dak is overrated. I don't think anyone considers Dak, a top 5 quarterback in the league, but he's a very good player. Zeke definitely looks old. Like he's been a physical runner his whole career. What is this guy complaining about? What is Kyrgios complaining about? Anyway, I'm watching Wimbledon with the volume off, and like every point he's like yelling at somebody. Anyway, Darren Reeves, my mental stability will not be able to handle losing the season opener for the 3rd year in a row. We must win the Florida State game. Darren, I think they will, for what it's worth. And I mean, I think y'all know I would tell you if I thought they weren't going to win that game. All right. Let's see. Devin Steve, love the baseball draft being in mid-July. Coaches don't love it, but then again, I don't care. Cody Boudreaux, is Rob's Donuts the second-tier donut shop in Thibodeau now? Let's see. Keaton, I think the most critical game to determine the season is Auburn. I feel like a win on the Plains could lead to a 10-2 season, a loss will lead to 8-4 or worse. Keaton, I'm stunned by how many of y'all think LSU is going to win 10 games. I mean, you do realize, like, when you look at the odds makers in Vegas, LSU's projected at 7. Like, they're not always right, but when they're wrong, there's usually not a difference of 3 games. Like, that's usually not the margin. Man, like, I, I think a lot of you are going to be really, really disappointed. I mean, I get it. Fans look through purple and gold lenses. I get it. Like, you want to believe that every recruit you got, every transfer you got is going to be the best at everything always. It just, like, you are not better at cornerback than you would have been with Ricks and McLaughlin. I think your defensive line is going to be really good. No idea what to expect at quarterback. No idea what to expect at running back. You lose 4 starters on the offensive line. The only guy returning, Cam Wire, may not even be a starter. You have no tight end. You have really good receivers. I mean, some of this stuff is going to come together, right? The corners may end up being fine. John Emery may have a great year. The offensive line, a couple of guys may play really well. So, I mean, like, but with a schedule like what LSU faces, to go 10-2, I mean, that means, assuming if you lose at home against Bama, that means you're going to have to win at Auburn, at Florida, at A&M, at Arkansas, at home against Tennessee. I mean, drop only one of those. Anyway. Like, I'm not saying LSU's not going to be in contention again soon. I think they will be. But this year? Brian Pent, when do Saints training camp begin? When do rookies report? So, Brian, rookie mini camp is already happened. Everybody reports at the same time for training camp. It's at the end of July. Cody Boudreaux, Jamar Cain is impressive. I agree. Which team has a longer winning streak? Orioles or Mariners? Don't know, don't care. Charles Fair, hey Matt, watched the women U17 basketball game on yesterday. I was not impressed with Williams. I'm glad she's coming here. She wasn't impressed. Hopefully it was a bad game. Hey, babe. Cody Boudreaux, Durante deserves more credit. They were fun to watch in the second half. Yeah, Ed finally got out of the way and let him call blitzes. Oh, man, I am like really, really behind on comments. All right, I'm trying to catch up a bit. Patrick P., what's up? Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Randall Offrecht, Matt, I'm interested in advertising my business on AFR. How do I contact the radio station to talk price on that? Randall, just shoot me an email. I'll connect you. Matt at 1045espn.com. MAT, or text me. You know how to get me on my text line. Just contact me. I'll put you in touch. Happy to do that. Thank you, by the way. Devin Steve, Tasties. You also talk about donuts. Joey Metge, Matt, any future plans to bringing Brian Kelly on your show? I've asked. I don't know if/when he's going to do local media, but I've asked. I guess I'm in the queue. I can follow up. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to. Let's see. Make Blue Bayou Water Park great again. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Ask E-Rock, how successful would a hair blow dry bar be and where should we build it? I'll ask her when she comes in here. Cliff and I were talking about that Wednesday at Oliver Twist. The Blue Bayou comments are coming in now. If you missed it, Terrio wrote his letter about Blue Bayou on Friday. It was pretty good. Go back and listen to it. Les would say nothing at all for 34 minutes at a time. Just get to the less stuff. Cody Boudreaux, NFTs with a puke face. Cody, you may not have to like it. The reality is you can't decide what someone sees value in. And if you don't see value in a digital asset, then you're blind, because that's where we're headed. And the other thing I'll tell you too is I'm not just talking about digital art. NFTs as a non-fungible token, like NFTs on the blockchain are how tickets will be issued. It's how you will ultimately sign your mortgage paperwork. It's where medical documents will be stored because it's non-fungible. Like blockchain technology is Web3. I mean, it's going to be part of our life for the rest of our lives. You may not want to buy somebody's NFT art and keep it on your phone because you don't like it, that's fine. But if you can't acknowledge the intrinsic value and use case of non-fungible tokens and blockchain technology, brother, like that's like going back to the year 2000 and you not understanding why the internet was going to be a big deal. Let's see. Strong side. Good morning, Scone. How was the RVW bourbon? So that would be the Rip Van Winkle. So that's the old Rip 10 is what I had down. Good. I'd already cracked it, but yeah, it's very good. Some people say the Van Winkles are more sizzle than steak, right? I disagree. I think they always hold up. I think the Van Winkles are awesome. Cody, all right, I'm a crypto guy. Mine during the first broke even, but NFTs are not wanted by the public and it's full theft. Now that's fine. That's totally fine. And I think what'll happen, Cody, all right, so we can have this conversation here. So I think just like the .com bubble burst, the same will happen with some NFT art. There are people who are minting NFTs and selling them, and people are paying a ridiculous amount for them, and that's a problem. Like, I'm not saying go spend $1 million for a CryptoPunk. I mean, you can if you want, if you think it's going to maintain value, but if you're unable to acknowledge that people are going to collect digital assets, especially younger people who will ultimately age up and be the primary demo of society, bro, you're just, I don't know how you could miss that altogether. Same with art, bro. Like, is there not theft in art? Like, traditional physical art? Are there not people who forge paintings and sell them to people? And come on. You're just describing human behavior. That's just the new vehicle for it. And if you're saying NFTs are not wanted by the public, you're just wrong. Like, why are people spending? Let's see. DA Matt, not knowing much going into the season. God dog it. All right, I'm gonna go a little quicker now. Not knowing much going into the season, is it fair to say that defense will have to keep us in games because of the lack of offense? Do we still don't know enough? I mean, DA, I want to know who the quarterback is first. I mean, let me see who's spinning it for LSU, and I might be able to tell you different. I like LSU's receivers a lot, Let's see, 8 wins with a pickup of a game we don't expect to win would be a great start. I'd agree. I mean, that would be... had to sneeze. Who transfers after the quarterback competition is over? Migo Tez, I really don't think you're going to lose anybody before the season starts. The most likely would be Brennan. And what are they doing? Been sitting around for 5 minutes. Anyway, the most likely would be Brennan because he's a graduate. Migo Tez, he's a graduate and they could go somewhere and play immediately. So like if they make it through fall camp and Jaden Daniels is the starter, Brennan could leave and go play somewhere immediately, and probably would. But 700 drinks, is that the tennis thing? Raymond, morning, Matt. I'm considering going to the Auburn game. Any idea what COVID protocols will be this fall? I'm not vaccinated. Raymond, I think all the COVID protocols are over, man. Like nobody's. I mean, even the places that have had the most stringent COVID restrictions, like I mean, we were in New York a couple of weeks ago, and they're no longer checking vaccination cards. So I think you're good. Taz, Matt, as an LSU and Saints fan, we think big, bro. LOL, let us dream. You can dream, bro, but like you also gotta. It's my job to make you understand. Like you gotta be realistic. Like you will never ever confuse me with a homer or someone who's just gonna tell you what you want to hear. I mean, the reason that whether you like it or not, the reason why my show over the years has had success is because people know that I'm just never going to BS you, bro. I'm never going to tell you just what you want to hear. And you may not always like it, but it's why people respect what I have to say. Cause you know, I'm not BSing you. I'm not feeding you a line that you want to hear. If I think they're going to win, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to lose, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to be good, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to be bad, I'm going to tell you. If I like the hire, I'm going to tell you. If I hate the hire, I'm going to tell you. Like, not everybody's like that. That's okay. Everybody can do it their own way, but you can dream big. And I'm telling you, I think that in short order, Brian Kelly will have LSU back in contention for championships, but it just ain't gonna be this year, bro. Like this is a bubblegum and duct tape type year. You realize LSU's been 500 the last 2 seasons? You played a bowl game with 39 scholarship players. You had only 50 available on the roster when Brian Kelly was hired. He had to go sign 15 transfers just to get numbers respectable. Jesse Brown, Matt, being I work in Charlotte, everyone's excited about getting Baker Mayfield. I think that's great. He will finally get to throw to the Browns week 1. Throw to the Browns week 1. That'll be a lot of be some interesting theater though for sure. Keaton, I personally think LSU is going to upset Bama. I'm stunned, Keaton. I'm stunned that you think it's going to beat Bama. Keaton, we have definitely smoked you out here as the guy that is undeniably the most gigantic LSU homer in the Morning Scone ecosystem. That at this point is undeniable. I mean, Keaton, they're going to go 12-0, right? They're going to win the SEC and then win the Natty, 15-0. Brian Kelly's never going to lose a game. Here we come. Oklahoma Sooners of the 1950s. Bud Wilkinson, like 55 straight or whatever it is. That's coming, right? Right at the shoot from Brian Kelly. They're going to beat Bama. They're going to go undefeated. Why not? All right. Oh, Keaton. Murder draft. We going 15-0, baby. Oh man. Christ Almighty. So is Auburn and Bama, and you have to go to those venues this year. You're not playing them at home. You got to go at the Swamp. You have to go at Jordan Hare. God. Sunshine and roses, bubblegum and unicorns, bud. I mean, you're probably listening to the wrong show, Keaton. Candidly, there's where the people will tell you what you want to hear. It ain't because, wow. Kenneth Kyle, what's up, man? Happy late birthday. Mine was the 7th. All right, man. Belated happy birthday to you as well. Hey, Dawn Jolibois, good morning. Samuel Merrifield, Matt, explain the NCAA is not the overall governing body for college athletics and how football may not be under the umbrella of the NCAA. So, well, the NCAA right now is the governing body for college athletics. But the NCAA works sort of at the pleasure of the conferences vis-a-vis the schools, right? So the schools choose to be NCAA participating members, and choose to be in their conferences. Well, if the schools collectively decide football is no longer going to be under the jurisdiction of the NCAA, well, they just remove it. I mean, the NCAA can't make them do anything, right? So, I mean, like we talked about, the NCAA doesn't crown a Division I football champion. They never have. And I mean, the way I always describe it, some of you have heard me say this, like when you win the College World Series or March Madness, you get the tall brown NCAA championship trophy. There isn't one of those for football because the NCAA doesn't crown a football championship. They don't operate college football's postseason. The schools collectively came together, or the conferences, and have outsourced their postseason to the college football playoff. Before that, it was the BCS. Prior, they would just have the bowls, and then the polls would crown the national champion. But the NCAA has never crowned a major college football champion. What I think ultimately is going to happen is you're going to have, like I keep talking about this one college football, 50 schools or whatever it'll be, and they'll just operate independently. They'll have like a commissioner of college football, and they'll just have college football. Tampa Bay check. Happy birthday, my dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Jason Mobile, is Russ Mitchell going to be at Media Days? He is not. When can we start hearing from him? Russ and I texted this week. I do need to reach out to him. Maybe we can get him on at some point for like a